for your values and fight for your friends. Fight through this blight, find the light at the end. Through the age of the dragon, the people will talk of the day they were saved by a hero named Hawk.
You're listening to Reignite, a podcast about two friends just hanging out. I'm Frankie.
And I am at AK Stormageddon.
And it's side quest time, baby!
Woo!
I have a list for us to run through. Do you want to do it in order, or do you want to jump around?
We can do it in order, I guess. We've already talked about this throughout the season, but the side quests in this game aren't particularly super engaging or well thought out. A few of them are fine, but for the most part they are, go here, do that. Go here, kill that. Go here, do that, and kill that.
I have a couple of comments. So let's start with the anniversary/closure conversation that you have with Varric, where he basically says, it's been an honor to know you. I chose to react sarcastically with, are you about to die? Am I?
Yeah. It's the best response. It's one of the ones I remember from previous playthroughs because it's the most me response to something like that, I think, in the entire game.
Yeah. Also, I feel like it's a nice moment.
Mm-hmm.
I love having a nice moment with my friends.
Yes.
But I don't think that it required a quest marker.
No.
I feel like this is the kind of conversation that you have right before you fight the big bad.
Which technically we could have done at any point now.
Right. And sort of in a way we are at that point, but it feels like no, they're in the next room. This is our final goodbye just in case we don't survive this.
Right.
That is what it felt like to me. And it felt very inorganic.
Yeah, I think the problem with a lot of the questioning belief style conversations is that they are meant to follow up the companion quest and they are meant to kind of wrap up that arc for the character. But because you can do the boss fight at any time, because there's DLC that's come out since the game was finished, it's hard to really nail that always. I think of when we went back to Mass Effect 3 in the Legendary Edition and we talked about it, and Mass Effect 2 even, you start both of those games with all of the endgame DLC, basically, and you can do any of it except Arrival in 2. I think Arrival is the only one that's locked until after you finish the game because it's a post-game DLC.
You can do Arrival before you finish the game.
Okay.
But you can't do it until after, the first act of the game.
Right, because it's about basically what happens in the first act, and it's the link to the third game. But when games have DLC like that, and you can't, it's different. My experience with The Witcher 3, though I haven't played the DLC for it, is the DLC are different selections on the start screen, and you can choose to just start the DLC with a pre-gen character or re-level up your Geralt. Whereas in the BioWare games, you just have access to everything from the get, and so nailing the vibe of this is our last moment before the final boss moment is harder when DLC is released this way.
Let's hop over to Anders. I know that we talked about there was an issue with the end of the Anders quest line because there's no wrapping up of justice. You just walk in and Anders is giving away his prized belongings.
Yep, and it's his questioning beliefs just happen, and he's giving away stuff. You encounter him talking to Varric about giving away, I think it was his favorite pillow or something.
It's the pillow that his mother embroidered. It was the only thing he was allowed to take when he was taken to the circle.
Right, and Varric is very much what the fuck are you doing? No, keep this. You sound like you're dying. Stop.
Because Anders is my husband, when I approach, he says, I want to tell you now, I love you. And I'm like, babe, we live together. I should hope so at this point. Otherwise, we need to rethink this living arrangement.
Yeah.
He also says, never blame yourself for what will happen. And I really wish that this was the moment where Anders comes clean to Hawk. It just feels so out of character for him to hide this.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Your man is flawed.
Yeah, and I like him flawed, but it doesn't feel, again, organic.
No, and I think part of it is this glitch that just exists that you can't really avoid, where he's already in his new robes and is talking about shit like the Justice stuff never happened. And poor Justice gets no resolution either. Like, which bums me out, because we talked about it in that part of season 1, but I like Justice as a character a lot. I thought he was interesting. He wasn't perfect, but like I like this idea of like a vengeful, like this spirit getting trapped in a body trying to seek closure and like fight back, and then he kind of becomes a nothing burger in this game as just part of Anders, but adds to some important moments for Anders, and then like gets no resolution.
I think Justice needed to be his own character, or rather vengeance, right?
Yeah, right.
I think there needed to be more of that struggle between justice and vengeance that we got to see.
Yeah.
But again, we know the restrictions, we know the timeline.
Yeah. It's a cool story gimmick that just didn't get fleshed out as well as I had hoped.
Yeah. Fenris's questioning beliefs walk into Isabella trying to recruit him. And the conversation is basically about Fenris struggling with the grief over the life that he was used to.
Yeah.
He's not necessarily grieving Daenerys. He is grieving who he used to be, because he's not necessarily that person anymore.
Yeah, and it's hard when you've been living one kind of way for a long time, even if it's not good, to then move past it. There are still these ripples of it that you will reckon with. You know, the mental fatigue it's caused, physical fatigue it's caused, and, you know, any kind of trauma that has come from that. Also, a release of trauma or a working through of trauma is not instantaneous. It takes time, and I think he's really struggling here with how he's been living and what it's done to him and what it's like to not have, like, if something is a big part of your life, good or bad, you feel it when it's gone.
Yeah. I mean, when you live your life in survival mode and you suddenly don't have to do that, you can't just switch your brain and just be like, and I don't need to live like that anymore.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily remember what life was like before crisis mode, and Fenris literally does not.
Yeah.
So I understand where he's coming from.
Yeah,
but because we're friends, he does say, wherever the future leads, I hope it's at your side. Aw, buddy.
Aw. You're actually a good person sometimes.
I like Fenris.
I like him too, but I think that's the theme of this game, is most of the best characters are complicated. They're not just like good people, quote unquote.
I would have liked more Fenris.
Yeah, I mean, I think all of the, like, it's clear that Anders is key to the narrative. It's clear that Varric is key to the narrative, and then like and Aveline to a degree, and then the rest of the companions kind of just are there and like have some cool moments, but don't get as well integrated into the narrative as those other characters.
We already discussed Sebastian's questioning beliefs. Neither of us got the Meryl friend or foe. Neither of us got the Aveline questioning beliefs. You because you couldn't. Me because I just didn't get... The way that you get the questioning beliefs is you have to max out friendship or rivalry.
Mm-hmm.
So I did not do that. So
yeah.
I did not get the conversation.
Yes,
so
despite Meryl falling in love with me, I didn't max her out either.
So over to Ravani Talisman. So this is a gift that we give Isabella, and her reaction when we give it to her is not all that excited.
No.
And I'm just like, oh no, you don't like it.
That's the worst, when you give a friend something and they're like, oh, thank you. And you're like, oh
Thank
no,
you.
I've done something terrible, haven't I? I misunderstood something.
Hilariously, though, is not all that bad. It's
No.
more silly than anything. And Isabella reveals to us, like, you just gave me a talisman to help me get pregnant.
Literally the pulling your collar meme. Like, whoops.
Like, you gave me this thing saying, here you go, I think you need a kid.
Whoops.
And you can react however you want. But essentially, she drops some Ravani lore, which I think is pretty cool. She talks
Yeah.
about how her mom used to be, or pretended to be, a Ravani seer, and these talismans were given to women who are trying to start their family, to try and encourage their womb to have lots of kids.
Yeah.
So, whatever. I thought the Ravani part was cool. And ultimately, she's like, it is nice to have something of where I'm from, even if it's weird.
Yeah, we'll talk about this again in the future because the Ravani play a part in a later game, but like there's not enough of the lore of this in here. I mean, I think there's not enough lore of cultures in the Dragon Age world, full stop, unless you read the codexes, and some of us aren't reading the fucking codexes. So like I wish that, like, I loved this for the same reason. I wish there was more of it. I wish there was more of her Ravani past and less of, not less of, but as much, like, I wish the Ravani and the pirate stuff were more equal instead of just her pirate and the quest she was on.
Yeah.
Because I want to know more about this character, too.
Yeah, I think the Ravani are pretty cool. You know, we do learn a bit about them. We know that they're a culture that's very attuned to spirits, and they don't see spirits as demons necessarily. So that's why Isabella is not weird about Anders.
Yeah.
And she's just like, yeah, whatever. I've seen a million spirits. What the fuck do I care?
Yeah.
On our gift giving track, we have the Blade of Mercy, which is for Fenris. Turns out it is a replica of the sword that Archon Hissarion used to kill Andraste. And at first I was like, do you mean to tell me that they sell one of these in every fucking tourist trap in Winter?
Right. Like, is this a gift shop toy?
But it turns out that it's not. It's like, no. It's like a prestigious thing. Like, not just anyone can have this.
Yeah, and he talks about how a different version of him may not want this and would turn it away. He loves the idea of using it to cut down people who challenge him.
He likes the irony of it because Daenerys used to covet them.
Yeah.
And it's a little tickle in his brain of like,
yeah. He also,
I have it and you don't. I have it and you don't.
He also does like a He-Man style pose where he like pulls the sword out and like fires it up while holding it out. It was very video gamey, but in a good way.
Yeah. And for Meryl, we have a Sylvanwood ring, and it gives us the opportunity to learn more about the Dalish gods. We learn more about Fenn-Harel, who drove the Forgotten Ones into the Abyss and the Creators into the Kingdom of Heaven and sealed them in their realms.
Yeah, I don't like this Fenn-Harel guy. I got a bad feeling about him. Anyway.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I will admit that hearing the Fenn-Harel stuff now, having recently completed the arc of the existing Dragon Age games, is like, oh, okay, all right,
yeah,
okay, yeah. More on that. More on that later.
Every time someone mentions Andraste, I'm like, ooh.
Just you wait. Like, my brain becomes the Lin-Manuel Miranda gif of just you wait.
Yeah. I had a quest that you didn't have because
Correct.
I kept Nathaniel Howe. I picked this mission up from his sister Delilah. Turns out that the Wardens are retracing Hawk's route through the deep roads. And the second we pop in, there he is fighting Darkspawn. And I'm like, cool, we'll go tell your sister. And he's like, wait, there are more of us and we need help. And I'm just like, gosh darn it.
Nothing's ever easy for Hawk.
No. And he says something weird and it never comes back around. He talks about who Oh, maybe he was referring to Bethany. He talks about information that they received about the deep roads, and you can ask, how did you like find out where we were? We didn't draw a map for anyone. And it was like, we found out from our allies. These are strange times. Anyway.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, who the fuck were you talking to? And then further along, you encounter Bethany. Bethany's part of his expedition group. And I'm like, oh, I mean, you could have just said it was a fellow warden.
Yeah. Maybe they didn't want to be weird about your sibling. I don't know.
He didn't know that she was our sibling.
Oh. Huh. Interesting.
But also, I really hate that every time you see Bethany, she's just like, you did this to me!
Yeah.
And I'm just like, you were going to die!
Yeah, it's interesting that Carver is less like that. Like, he's clearly miffed, but he ultimately, he's more stoic about it than Bethany is, which is interesting.
I think part of it is that the warden lifestyle is actually really well suited to Carver.
Yeah.
It gives him an opportunity to become more than his sibling Hawk.
Right.
Whereas Bethany is very gentle. If you don't take her with you to the deep roads and she gets caught by the Templars and brought into the circle, she becomes very soft and gentle, and she takes care of the children in the temple and the circle. So like she finds her place there.
Right.
I feel like she's less angry if she gets taken to the circle. It's a very strange dynamic, in my opinion. It couldn't be me. I'd be fucking furious if you left me behind and I got like arrested and dragged to the circle. I'd be like, if you took me with you, this wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was a nice little moment to run into your sister. Like, she does be like, how am I doing?
Yeah.
I'm going to die. And I'm like, you would have been dead already if I didn't, like, take you to the wardens. Like, eat my entire ass. What do you want? But then she's like, but also, it was the only thing you could do. I'm like, yes, thank you for acknowledging that. I just, okay. So, it was a nice little mission. Like, there was a little bit more to it.
Yeah.
We have a mission here called Beware of Dog.
Yeah, it's a mission where you enter your estate, and Otis, in my case, is upstairs barking at an armoire.
Hercules is very upset with the wardrobe. Yeah. And it turns out that somebody snuck into the house and tried to rob us, but Hercules trapped them in the wardrobe. I do not remember how I finished it off, but I think I was like... I think I sent the dog after him. I was just like,
yeah,
you can fuck around and find out.
I think you can have your dog take him to the guard.
Yeah,
and he comments about like, wait, dogs can do that? What? And like, you're like, my dog can. Bring this guy to Aveline.
My dog is besties.
Yes.
Well, not besties with Aveline, but like, he gets a good workout with them.
Yeah, tis true.
But I actually did an interview today with a very important fan of the Dragon Age series. He was a schnauzer, and he said, more dogs in Dragon Age, please.
Okay.
So, you heard it here, folks.
Unfortunately, he's going to be very disappointed.
I know. More dogs in Dragon Age.
Yeah. At this point, it's like, more Dragon Age, ? So, there's that.
Okay. So we have another one called The Lost Swords. Neither of us got to finish this, and I just wanted to complain a little bit.
It feels like one of those quests where you can either endlessly or for a long time collect a reward item from fighting the Qunari and then turn them in. And I think it's just a XP engine. That
it's not. There's a set number, because I have completed it in the past in previous games. There's a set number of Qunari swords that are spread throughout the map and on some quests. And if you find them all, you get something. I don't even remember. Mm-hmm. But you do get something, and like your title changes, or I don't know.
Okay.
But the thing that annoys me about it is there's no indicator of like, I am looking for this many swords.
Yeah.
You have found this many. I need this many more.
Yeah, this is part of the bugginess of this game. There were some of these quests that we did for this, where when you when you highlight a quest in your log, it highlights and makes the icon on the map a little bigger, and if you're on the overworld map, it shows you where you need to go to get to it. But some of these missions don't show up that way. Either they don't show up that way till you get into the map, but you don't know if you click. Some of the maps have a daytime version and a nighttime version. You don't know which one it is, whereas normally it would. For all the major quests, it does show that. Sometimes it doesn't show it on the map at all. Like one of the last ones we'll talk about, I couldn't find until I looked up a walkthrough. So yeah, it's very frustrating how some of the quests in this game just don't end or don't have the information they need. I get it, but it's, going back to an old game and experiencing this stuff is frustrating. Not uncommon. Obviously, games age, and the bare minimum for games then versus now are different sometimes. But yeah, it's very frustrating.
Yeah. Did you do the Awirgin Scrolls, Pride Unbound?
I don't remember. What was that one about?
So you had to find these 3 different scrolls, fight these 3 different arcane horrors, and then find a hidden lair in Darktown and defeat this massive pride demon.
I don't think I did this. I mean, it wasn't on my quest list. There were a few quests that I couldn't finish. We'll talk more about that later. I either I couldn't finish that because of how I had locked myself out of something, or I just never saw it. I don't know.
That's fair. Well, I finished it. I fought the giant pride demon Hybris, and I got a cool sword.
Yay, swords.
It was a tough fight, I'll be honest. There's this potion that you can get, I think, from the antiquarian, where you can, what's it called? Life Ward potion. I had to use this Life Ward potion so I didn't die immediately. It was brutal. It was a very tough fight. I don't know if it was worth it. I got a sword. I used daggers.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yep.
We'll see when I arm everyone up for the final battle, if it's any good. Let's see. Next to last, we have the Noble Agenda, which we encounter a woman who is about to be attacked by Templars for feeding her beaten and starving cousin who escaped from the circle.
Yep.
So it made me feel good to kill that Templar.
Yes.
Aside from that, we also find some hidden supplies in Darktown, and then we show up for the nobles having a secret meeting at night, and we defend them, and the nobles are like, when you take down Meredith, we got your back.
Yeah, it's a question where it's basically showing that members of the nobility are working together to come after, to unite to fight against Meredith.
Yeah, and not for the reasons that I would like.
Yeah, but an ally is an ally at that point.
Yeah, I'll take it. Who needs rescuing?
So this is a mission that's in which area? The Wounded Coast. And it was really frustrating because typically when there's a mission in the Wounded Coast, which we've talked about before, is one of the worst dungeon maps in existence because it winds around and there are tons of dead ends. But typically, if you have a mission on that map, it at least highlights with the little quest logo. But this one didn't. I don't know why.
It did for me.
Yeah, and so for me, it didn't.
It doesn't like you.
Well, I'm playing on PC, and PC was probably buggier than the Xbox version. But anyway, I wandered the entire map, and it turns out there was a left turn at the entrance of the map that I didn't take, and she was right there.
Yeah.
So I eventually was able to do it, but it was very frustrating. This is a weird one.
Yeah, so when we stumble upon her, she's just standing there, and she asks us if Fenrir sent us, or rather her love. And then she tells us that Fenrir, the dreaming elf, or half-elf, that we had worked with in the past, and we encouraged to go to Deventer to master his magic, He rescued her from assault, and now she's in love with him. At first, I thought he like had been stalking her, but I
Yeah.
think he just stumbled upon her and was like, "Oh, bad things are about to happen to you. I'm going to make that not happen."
Yeah.
So I think she's just obsessed with him now.
And you can tell her, you can ask her who if she was expecting someone else, or just tell her that her father had sent her because he was sent you because he was worried about you. And then she just kind of still dreamily talks about how she has to wait longer for her love Fenriel and then goes home. Yeah, I appreciate that there have been several missions about Fenriel. I like that he has an arc, but this is such a terrible end to it. Like, I thought the conclusion of helping him escape and like comforting his mother, I thought that was
Yeah.
a great quest, you know, and it kind of like you get him to be able to run away to the circle, you know. It just feels, this feels like kind of empty additional whatever, and it's not even much of anything. Again, you go here, you find her, you kill a bunch of guys, and then she just walks off. It's like,
Yeah.
okay.
I would have. This is a wish that will never be fulfilled. I would have liked Fainreal to appear in either Inquisition or Veilguard.
Agreed.
I think it would have been cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's
Like
gonna
an older Fainreal.
yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot of complaining in the next two games about what didn't show up, just because
Yeah.
there's some consistency between 1 and 2 that kind of disappears in 3 and 4. There are other cool things that happen instead, and there are still some characters who recur that are worth discussing and have unique versions of themselves, but like, yeah, it's a little frustrating. Like, I feel like there are more connective threads between 1 and 2 than there are between 1, 2 to 3 and 4. There's more connective tissue between 3 and 4, and like there are disparate connections between the whole lot of games. But yeah, there are tons of characters who seemed important to this game that just kind of disappear without a trace.
And that is it for all of our side quests.
Yep. Considering the size of the game, like you can 100% this game fairly easily. Most of the annoying quests, thankfully, aren't time consuming. They're mostly annoying because they're not fun. But like, I think it's safe to say that you could probably skip, besides the questioning beliefs and gift stuff, I think you could skip a ton of the side quests and still get a satisfying conclusion to the game.
Oh yeah. The final quest, you get access to it really early.
Mm-hmm.
So you could have skipped a whole lot of things. Do you want to get into fan mail?
Yes, let's do it.
By fan mail, we mean, of course, Callie's podcast within a podcast. Thoughts on our episode of Reignite. Specifically, Faith. I'm gonna pick and choose a little bit from here instead of reading the whole thing because Callie is very verbose, and I do not mean that in a bad way.
Also, if you want the complete experience, you have to join our Discord.
Yeah, so, you know, we're making it worthwhile for you to join the Discord. My favorite thing is I share all of your complaints, and here are more.
About Faith, yeah. Uh-huh.
I deeply agree. Feels silly to me that Althena insists on staying in order to do what exactly? Who does she think she's helping? Her passive so-called neutrality is not helping anyone. But like Frankie, if she wants to make a bad choice and die for it, I will not try and stop her.
Yeah.
Also referring to Sebastian being anti-chantry and anti-monarchy, I do not want to be pushing Sebastian in either of these directions, and this decision pains me. But it sounds like Starkhaven will have a de facto monarchy anyway, and having Sebastian fill the power vacuum could prevent chaos that might inflict much harm. Thus, reluctantly, I push him in that direction. See, that's how I feel too.
Yeah.
Epilogue, podcast within a podcast. Oh no, do you know what you've done? My friend who already jokes that this is, quote, my podcast will love this. Wait, does this mean I'm outside the host-listener binary? Another one for the board, or for the horde, rather, not the board. Been missing making my little recordings. I think I will be ready to resume in time for DA2 finale. I also have a couple ideas for silly little surprises for the final episode. Ooh.
Fun.
That's exciting. And I do want to share my least favorite companion quest is either Aveline's for the same reasons you discuss, or Sebastian's, because despite having made much progress in the last couple of years on healing my religious trauma, all this piety and associated anti-mage bigotry makes me rather annoyed and uncomfortable, and not in a fun or intellectually interesting way. Varric is high on my list for favorite, but my favorite companion questline is also Meryl's. As my previous comments have shown, I strongly sympathize with her having good intentions, being willing to make large personal sacrifices to try and do a good thing, and making decisions that seem like good ones in the moment, and everything still going wrong. This replay also coincided with a time when it was helpful for me to be reminded that someone can have questionable judgment that causes them to accidentally do hurtful things, but still be a good person. That reminder probably helped me be kind to someone in my life who fits that description. And even if giving them another chance does not work out, I will not regret that choice. Aw. Thank you, Callie, for always having so much to say and, showing us that you care about what we have to say. That's something that I really appreciate about your in-depth responses to our episodes. Because, I don't know, as long as you're listening, then we're not just yelling at each other.
Yeah, I mean, this podcasting generally can feel like yelling into the void. So whenever anyone comments or sends a message about anything that I work on, it's like, someone heard this. That's great. Because, you don't really feel it otherwise. Like, I don't want negative feedback either, but like feedback of any kind lets you know that there are folks out there. And so to know you're always out there makes it worth it alone. And the fact that more folks are joining the Discord and enjoying the conversations as well. To that end, shout out to Rachel Angel, one of our newest Discord members, who immediately joined and started a delightful conversation with Callie that was just wonderful. We love having you folks here to talk about these episodes. We think too much about everything, so to know that other people also think too much is kind of a relief.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go to Fandom Corner.
Okay.
I'm just really excited to talk about Animorphs.
Yeah, when aren't you?
I love Animorphs.
Yeah, we know.
Look.
I'm just saying, Alex has been a guest on this podcast in previous seasons. We know.
I know. But the reason why I want to talk about Animorphs is because, first of all, they're being re-released with new covers. But
Cool.
Not in the UK. Scholastic, get it the fuck together. I got the graphic novel of the first book, and it is beautiful. The art is amazing. It made me really emotional to see all of my little babies. Because if you don't know, the Animorphs is a fantastic science fiction series that is written for a middle grade audience, which is about 8 to 12 years old. So the characters are anywhere between 8 to 12 years old, probably 12 or 13. And they go through some really horrific things. It is a story about war. It is about the horrible things that you do when you are fighting a war, about how these things will haunt you for the rest of your life, and you will never be the same person you were before you started fighting. And it happens to children, and it's really intense and really emotional, but it's done with care. Like, this is not a careless story where it's just like, yeah, we'll just tell it about kids. It's done very purposely. Reading K.A. Applegate was the first time I ever said out loud that I wanted to write. And it was because of Animorphs.
Hell yeah.
So I have like really deep feelings about it. And there's going to be an adaptation for Disney Plus, led by Ryan Coogler of Sinners.
Yes, Sinners and the Black Panther movies and
Yes.
Creed. Yeah, that's awesome.
So I'm really excited about that because I think Ryan Coogler is great. Something that I do hope is that in the adaptation, they'll age up the characters because, like I said, in the books, they're very young. I don't think that I can handle watching 12, 13-year-olds go through these horrific experiences.
Yeah.
Even, like, knowing that it's fiction, I think that it would be too brutal to watch, and I don't want child actors to have to act out these horrible things.
That's fair. I mean, likely in the tradition of Hollywood, they won't be as young as the characters are, the actors.
I know, but
yeah, I know.
I would rather they age up the characters to like 17, 18 and have a 20-year-old play them.
Yeah,
You know?
no, that's fair.
I would rather an adult
Yeah.
play an older teen.
I'm excited for
And
I'm excited for the adaptation because then I will finally know what happens in Animorphs because I've never read the books or the graphic novel. So, and I like Ryan Coogler a lot also. So, I
This
think
is the time.
I know, and I think Sinners is not one of the best vampire movies. That is true, but also one of the best movies. Full stop.
Oh yeah, I love Sinners.
The way it handles music, the way it integrates music into the world, the way it tells these stories of these individuals. Yeah, Ryan Coogler, I think, along with Boots Riley, is one of the best working directors to date. And I just saw I Love Boosters over the past weekend, and so yeah, that's on my mind. But yeah, that's awesome that there's an adaptation coming.
Yes.
Maybe we'll have to do a mini podcast within a podcast where we do episode reviews of Animorphs and bring
We'll
Alex
have to
back.
invite Alex on.
I was
if
going to
we
say,
can.
we'll have to bring Alex back. Alex, I don't have time for podcasting, person, but yeah, I would love to bring him back for that. That'd be fun.
Alex is a busy bee.
He is a busy bee. It's true.
All right, what do you have?
So I am going to briefly mention I Love Boosters, which is the second film written and directed by Boots Riley. He did Sorry to Bother You several years ago. It's one of the most surreal and awesome movies I've ever seen. Go see it. I'm convinced Keke Palmer can do anything, which is basically true because she's a singer, actor, writer. So anyway, wanted to give a quick shout out to that. But because it went over well previously, I want to share another personal experience. I mentioned Em Byhold on the podcast before. I got to see her in concert this past Wednesday, along with Jaani K. Ja, who opened for her, who, for the first time in my concert-going career in a while, I listened to the opener's discography the morning of the concert. It was because she only had one album. The album is called she'd done a collection, she'd done a bunch of singles over the years and then did a collection called The Rest of the Laurels Epilogue, which was a 2026 collection of all those singles. So it's like, I think 13 or 14 tracks all on one album. And so I listened to that and I really liked it, and I'm glad I did because her performance was awesome. But Em Byhold music has had a firm grip on me over the last year or so. I've really loved it, and so to get to see her live was really awesome. The performance was great. She did a cover of Us by Regina Spektor, which is an important song to me and Sarah, so that was fun. Since I especially haven't seen Regina Spektor in concert ever. She did all of the new album and a couple of older songs. She didn't do one of my favorite older songs, which is how that goes sometimes, especially when someone's touring a new album. But if you like Vanessa Carlton or other like piano forward pop stars, you will like Em Byhold's music. The newest album, though, is clearly written with a piano, is not all like piano pop music. There's some dancier stuff. There's some slower stuff. It's a really great record. My favorite song on the album, I think, is Exorcist, which is basically a song about realizing that you don't love yourself very much and you want to figure out a way to like learn to be with yourself, like how to love yourself and kind of exist. It's a song about someone struggling to exist alone in their life and like be comfortable with themselves, which is just
That's a
really
mood.
Yeah, exactly. But highly recommend her music as always, and the concert was so much fun. Though I am just getting too old to stand for 5 hours. Standing in line outside, then standing in the venue because there's no seats. I'm just getting too old for that. Also, after the show, some people were hanging out waiting, like stage dooring basically for her to see if she'll come out after. And I waited for about an hour and a half and she still didn't come out. And so I just cut my losses and went home. I have no idea when she did actually come out. But I waited because typically, like when I went to see OCT earlier in the month, they came out basically 30 minutes later, and I got a photo with them. But I totally also understand and respect someone who just played music for 2 hours, wanting to vibe and not come out and be swarmed by people who
Yeah.
adore her. But I was hoping I would get to get a photo. But it's okay. I went to the fan event a couple months back and got a photo with her then.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a great concert, and I'm glad I'm going to more concerts. My next one is a much larger scale concert in July. In late July, I'm seeing Ariana Grande at Barclays Center, which should be awesome. And even if I can't really see her because she'll be so tiny, I'll at least be able to hear the music live. But yeah, I have a concert. I had 2 concerts in May. I have a concert in July, and I have a concert in August right now, and so that's exciting. I for many years
Look at
stopped.
you.
Yeah, I stopped going to concerts for many years, and like as Dad got really sick and then died, I vowed that I was going to see more live music again. Especially since he couldn't towards the end and still wanted to. So far I've been on target to do that. Unfortunately, concerts keep getting more expensive, so there may be less of it. But surprisingly, the Ariana Grande, now mind you, the tickets are in the nosebleeds, but the Ariana Grande tickets were only, I think, like 120 something, 140 something. I can't remember, which like is still a lot for a concert. But like when Taylor Swift was here last, they were like $1,000 at least. So like, I'll take what I can get. But I can only go to a concert like that like once a year. Like last year, that was the My Chemical Romance concert. Was I think they were over $100 for a stadium show. So yeah. Anyway, go to more concerts, y'all. It's fun.
I have mentioned that I have a chronic illness, a connective tissue disease, which means that I actually cannot stand for a long period of time because my body is trying to hold itself up, and it's exerting more effort than someone who does not have a connective tissue disease. So I now have a little wheelie chair that I take with me. So, and it is helpful. I love my rollator. It is the greatest thing because if I can't stand anymore, I can sit on it, and it's fantastic. But the thing is, I'm 37 and I look like I'm 25.
Yeah.
And people give me the dirtiest fucking looks when they see me with my little rolly thing.
Yeah, because they're like, why the fuck do you need that?
And it's upsetting. But I am looking forward to when there's going to be a concert again, and I take it with me.
That's true.
And I can sit at the concert, and I will just be very happy.
See, the lesson here is that physically you need to age faster as well, like appearance-wise, and then you'll be able to use that more. I
know, I'm trying. But it's all the preservatives in American food. I have plastic in my blood, so I will never age. I will look like this forever.
Look, people are still shocked when I say I'm in my 40s. That'll be less shocking as I continue to age. I think I don't know, I act like I'm in my 80s, so who the hell knows? But no one ever believes that I'm as old as I am because I look younger, which I'll take.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, every time I tell someone I'm 37, they're like, no.
You're so young. Old in spirit, though.
Yeah, I'll never be as old as you, though.
Yeah, thanks. Not until I'm dead. Then you'll catch up. All right, so on to what's next.
We're so morbid.
We are so morbid. Anyway, we are doing the DLC Mark of the Assassin next, so play through that DLC for the next episode. We're in the home stretch, only 3 more episodes after that. The Legacy DLC, The Last Straw, which is the final mission, and the conclusion of the game, and then our postmortem, where we discuss our overall thoughts on Dragon Age 2 and talk about what to expect in Dragon Age 3 Inquisition.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
I'm just excited to not be playing games on PC anymore. I can use my PS5 to game for this podcast again, which I wasn't able to do for our original run of Mass Effect until Andromeda, because we were playing the original trilogy, which I also only had on PC. So I'm a cranky, perturbed PC gamer.
All right. Let's wrap it up. If you like what you heard here, you can follow us on social media. We're at ReignitePod on Blue Sky, YouTube, and Instagram. Or you can send us an email over at reignitepod@gmail.com. You can also find Matt and I over on Blue Sky as DJ Stormageddon and Frankie B. Writes.
If you like the podcast, feel free to rate, review, and even subscribe if you've only been listening without subscribing, which, again, is weird, but hit that smash that subscribe button, as they say on the YouTubes. But yeah, please rate and review the podcast. It helps us grow the audience. It helps folks find us. And, it's the greatest way that you can help any podcast that you listen to. And it only takes a couple of minutes.
We are members of the Certain Point of View Network. Visit certainpov.com to find more nerdy podcasts, each with a unique point of view. You can also find a permanent invite link to our Discord server on the website where you can join the conversation with Rachel and Callie.
And many others. Please come hang out there. I spend most of my time there because social media is a cesspool. So if you want to chat with me specifically, and Frankie, I guess, you should come to the Discord.
I'm there sometimes.
Sometimes. Usually if someone tags you, you find it eventually.
Yes. Look, now that a thesis is not eating my brain, I am more present.
I'm going to get you to play so many video games. Maybe you'll finally do that side quest on Our Life.
Unlikely.
Okay.
Even though
fair.
I did just start an Our Life replay recently.
Of course you
so
did.
Maybe. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I did also attempt to start Mixtape, but I had a friend over and the vibe was weird, so I did not really get into it, but I will try it again when I'm not having weird vibes in my house.
Okay, fair enough.
What do we have going on in our personal lives, Matt?
So a few things. Obviously, always promoting fun and games. You can find us at funandgamespod.com or at patreon.com/funandgamespod. There's a free tier if you want to join that allows you to get notified when we post any of the normal podcast episodes, as well as my articles and polls for our retrospectives. You can find all of that there. Honestly, it's the best one-stop shop for everything fun and games because it has literally everything we post, including the main episodes themselves. And then you can pay a little money to get some bonuses and shout-outs and stuff. Also, if you are in the New York area or in the tri-state area, I guess I can say, on Sunday, June 14th, Jen and I are doing a live podcast of Fun and Games. We are interviewing Stephanie Gross and Mark Kleback, who are the owners of the arcade bar Wonderville in Brooklyn. For those who don't know what Wonderville is, it's a arcade bar, but all of the arcade machines are independent arcade machines. They are often games that you can't actually find online anywhere. They just are in these physical cabinets. They are, and if they are in several locations, it's a small print run. They are not widely available everywhere. It's also a very gaming friendly bar and hangout space. And so Jen and I are really excited to get to do a live version of our podcast, which we haven't done for a while, and interview the incredible owners, proprietors of that bar. And who knows, maybe that series will continue with other interviews in the future. So if you're in the area, please come hang out. It doesn't cost anything. You have to RSVP. There's an RSVP link in our Instagram, but it doesn't cost anything. It's free to come. They'll probably want you to buy drinks when you're there, but there's no cost to see the podcast live. So we just want folks to come out and hang out. So come do that. What about you, Frankie?
I just finished my PhD thesis.
And boy, are my arms tired.
No.
Okay.
No. My brain is tired, not my arms. Silly.
Fair.
But yes, I just finished my PhD thesis for creative writing about using fantasy as a means to critique colonialist practices in media, as well as a tool for exploration of identity. My brain is so full of knowledge, and I would like to drain it of knowledge. So I have nothing going on aside from I am working with my dear friend Harlan Lane to bring to life the Romance Society bookstore here in Coleraine in Northern Ireland. So you can follow us at Romance Society Books on Instagram if you would like to support us. We will hopefully be having a Kickstarter going within 6 months. So if you want all the news about that, go there. You can also check out my website, frankiebwrites.com, where you can hire me for things, or you can just send me a message. I don't know.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. We want to thank Case Aiken for developing some awesome t-shirt designs that you can find at certainpov.com or on the Certain POV Teespring. Also, thank you to Case for developing each individual episode's show art. We really appreciate it.
We do. It's true. We'd also like to thank Miracle of Sound for our theme music. If you've been jamming along, then you should head over to miracleofsound.rocks and check out Gavin Dunn's other music and merch.
Thank you to Red Spinks for designing our Dragon Age inspired logo. To see more of his work, you can go to Chaos Does Art on Instagram.
And lastly, thank you for listening. I'm Frankie.
And I am at AK Stormageddon.
And remember, all Templars are bastards.
Fight for your values and fight for your friends. Fight through this blight, find the light at the end. Through the age of the dragon, the people will talk of the day they were saved by a hero named Hawk. Hawk, 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 Hawk.
Have you ever been reading through a stack of comics and thought, maybe I should see what that Arkham Asylum game is all about? Or been playing Marvel vs. Capcom and felt like you were at a real disadvantage since you didn't know who half the characters were? Well, Play Comics is the show for you. I'm Chris, and each episode we take a look at video games based on comic properties and how well they stick to that source material. So whether you know the comics and want to know how all those games work, or you know the games and want to find out where all this craziness came from, go check out Play Comics at playcomics.com or wherever you find your favorite podcasts.
CPOV.
CertainPOV.com.